Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berusaha Puan Azida Azmi, Registrar of University Technology Mara, Puan Afina Bakar, Chairman of the 19th International Conference of University Administrators, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is always an honor to come back to this place. When I was coming in from the, I guess it's still the hotel in Tekma kot, enter, and I'm surprised that I can go through Kenanga Hostel, because those days we cannot go through, then come out at Perindu to this lovely building that we have now, which never existed during my time. So thank you for bringing me back to this place that has made me where I am today. Firstly, I was told this is an international conference, so I do not want to, I probably cannot use my bahasa Malaysia kita to make it more dramatic, but I'll have to use our English so that in respect to our international participant. Salam dari our Datuk Bazlan who is not able to join us this evening, and I hope I do justice for him for presenting here to share our experience. Now, I'm also made to understand that this session is going to be also another challenging session because you guys just came back from lunch. So I really hope that you can hold on with me. You know, if you need to put something near your eyes to hold it up, please do so. Okay, but I will make it as interesting as possible so that you stay on with me for about an hour. I'll walk through my deck that I have. I have some 19 pages, I guess, which I go very quickly, and I spend some time to talk, to give you opportunity to have some sharing of experience. Now, the topic given to me is about big data for talent management. So I have to add at the side, at the end of that topic, to say the TM experience. See, this is the beautiful part about talking to a learned academician. So I'm not an academician, nor do I a consultant. Throughout my profile, I'm a practitioner. So therefore, I hope my experience throughout my journey in my career can help us do this sharing together. Now, let me just, can you actually see the deck? Because I was told this is PDF. PDF, because the font cannot be seen clearly, or you guys can see. Boleh boleh nampak? Okay, try. Well, because when we talk about the topic, I'm very sorry I have to come up here. It's easier for me. Topic on HR. One thing that it is very important for us to take note is that the context, because the dynamic of demography becoming very important. So what works in TM may not work at your place. What works at your place may not work in TM. Yeah. So therefore, just to give you demographic is important. So if you can look here, we have 26,000 employees throughout Malaysia and also international office, like some 50 countries we have regional office. In TM, commercial lah sikit, in TM we have 3 arms that manage our revenue. One is our TM Global. TM Global ni is an organization that take care of all our fiber line, submarine and so on to commercialize throughout the world. Then we have TM Unify, is a division. TM Unify, I think, must be nearer to you all. This is the one that provide you all the broadband, the Unify mobile, the line that you have at home. So those are from the TM Unify. Then last but not least, we have TM1. TM1 is one organization within TM who provide solution like data center, like solutioning in terms of automation, retail network, and so on and so forth. So consultancy So integrated business is in TM1. So basically this is the three arm of TM. Yeah? And one of the things that throughout our journey in this talking about data and the usability of data, we have, you also have to appreciate that TM started, we have our own legacy. If you remember, for those international participants, you probably need to do some history, but TM Malaysia started with the government office, Jabatan Telekom Malaysia, So you can see that the ranges of the employee, there are people who like the age of 60, and there are people who just joined us last week. So that's the diversity of the population. So people insight is important, customer insight is important, the network, because TM as an organization very used highly on infrastructure. So our cost on infrastructure is very crucial. Just to share with you from manpower management standpoint, one of the things that, or one of the bigger challenge that we have is cost. So from managing manpower in TM, my biggest challenge is productivity. So we have 26,000 employees and we have revenue like 12 billion. So how to manage that? And we have social obligation being GLC and so on and so forth. So those are the challenges that we have. Just to give you a little bit, well, I'll try to read it for you. To give you some context, we have, as I said just now, about 26,000. We have union. We have 4 union. One is the big one, that is union NUTE, National Union of Telecom Employee. Then we have 3 more union in Sabah and in Sabah and Sarawak. So that is the diverse population, because that union is important to us, because they will help us in trying to understand or trying to deal with the issues that matters to at the non-executive, our technician, our technical. So those are the people that the union will help us. And I must say, over the years, from managing the organization standpoint, we have quite a good relationship within management and the union team and the union exco. So that has helped us to bring us where we are today. Okay. Now, although the topic is more on talent management, let me just qualify myself, because talent, some organization argues talent is everybody. Everybody is a talent, right? Some organization argues talent are only their high potential, because different organizations see it differently, right? So here, I think it is waste if we talk about big data, but we only focus on the high potential, because the amount of data that we use will cover the whole spectrum of HR discipline. In my deck, just to share with you, I will have some combination. Some are our TM aspiration, some are our own experience, some are organization that we learn we want to aspire to be, which we'll see afterward. And some are also coming from our partners, our consultants that have helped us throughout the years that we want to grow in managing the human capital. So you can see here, the big data and analytics is changing the whole spectrum of HR ecosystem, right from recruiting to productivity management and training, to engagement, to retention and fraud prevention. Very interesting, because I was told after this we're going to talk about, or we're going to hear, which I'm going to hopefully be able to share with, to listen to the next speaker, about Industry Revolution 4.0. This is very interesting time. Those days when I was younger, the HR is not like the HR today, simply because we have the power of data. And we are able to analyze, cut, slice, and be able to deal with it. Those days, we don't have that capability. Because of that, if you look at the way the HR evolution, if you remember those days, which I also argue even today, the approach is different. Those days, the approach is one formula fits all. Kan? Today, actually, the nirvana is, from my perspective, is that if you can address the thing that matters to the employee, that is all it takes to make someone to be motivated, happy, and satisfied with the job. You know, as an example, I am just as a practice in HR, you can see, for example, I just gave example of annual leave. Annual leave as a benefit. I'm not sure about your organization. In TM, if you join TM, on the first year, you will get 18 days annual leave. Okay? I'm sure in your organization have the same thing. Actually, some people need 18 days. Some people need 20 days. Some people need 12 days. Some people need 40 days. And whatever. With the power of the data and analyzing our employee, we actually can customize those things that fit exactly for that employee. I'm just giving a context and an example. So in moving forward, you can see that even benefit can be different from one person to another, which I will share with you some work that we did in TM, probably not to individual, but a specific group of people. This is a model that we are trying to achieve, the whole journey of big data in TM. You can see that, you know, on the left, on the right, you can see from technology to data information system to analysis and reporting. You can see the stakeholder from human capital operation to human capital strategy to human capital business driver. Human capital business driver is like a typical HR manager lah. Then of course the business leader. How they use, you know, from purely system governance. If you remember those days when we are personnel manager, all you take care is governance, you know, data governance to KPI, then starting to move to descriptive analytic, to even prescriptive analytic. Basically, we prescribe, we anticipate. Now with the new things coming in town, you know, the artificial intelligence and so on and so forth, we can study the behavior of the employee that we can so that address their need. So this is the model that we have. In a matured, if you use a matured analytic capability concept, so you can see from, depending on the maturity of the organization, we can have descriptive analytic, diagnostic analytic, predictive analytic, and prescriptive analytic. This is how we serve our employee at different need that the employee wants. So one of the things that we approach in TM is trying to use employee journey. That's why in some of the, when he described my title just now, a lot of organization talk about people experience. Just like in dealing with the market, we talk about customer experience. So we are saying how to make sure that the people experience in your organization is a pleasant experience from day one. Right from trying to understand what your organization is all about, so that you are able to attract throughout the training, development, until that person leave the organization. So even for example like us in TM, we hope all those have retired from TM still using the TM product. So the association with the brand becomes so tight that the engagement level is so high that you can still maintain it even after your career in TM. So basically that is the approach. if we talk about high potential, this is the model that we use in TM. If you Google through Corporate Leadership Council, CLC, you will see this. This is one of the recognizable or recognized model. That basically, what this model is trying to say is that how to drive high potential. And I love this model simply because it also works at home. If you want to drive somebody to become leader, these three circles must be there. Simply said, that person that you want to develop must have aspiration. Okay? So you must have aspiration. If you develop someone without aspiration, you're going into trouble throughout the journey of the development. Why? Because they don't aspire. So we as an organization have to create avenue to how to make people aspire to be somebody. You know? So that's why I like this model, because I can share with you how it works at home too. Okay? On the right circle, this screen terbalik. On the right circle is a circle that describes ability. Ability in our term is basically performance. Ability is like your KPI, performance management system. You know, whether you get rating 1, rating 2, rating 3. That's ability. Whether you are able to perform where you are at. Okay? Then on my left is called engagement. Engagement here is very interesting because until today, I still couldn't find a Malay language to describe the real engagement. It's not pertunangan. No. It's not involvement. It's beyond involvement. Engagement ni ada, there is a attachment, the emotional attachment. The nearest I can think is probably sacrifices. Pengorbanan is also engagement. Basically, this model say, if you aspire to be someone and you are able to do what you are supposed to do well today, and you are willing to, or you are engaged with whatever activity. For example, engagement, you can think like sacrifices, like if you want to be a professor, you have to study to do research work. If you want to become bosses, you better be able to stand up, better be able to stand up in front of everybody and give talk, for example. These are the things that sometimes you don't like to do it. But because you want to reach your aspiration, you'll have to do it. A simple example of this model, if you use at home, for your kids, if you have kids, I use this also for my kids. That's the problem when you have kids, anak orang HR kan. So I said, first, let's say you have a boy or a girl who are taking SPM. First, you have to ask for the international participant. SPM is our higher examination for the youngsters. Teenager, higher education level. Okay, so if you have a kids doing SPM, for example, first you have to ask them, you know, boy, would you want to have straight A or not? If your boy or your girl don't have an interest to get straight A's, then you got problem already. Day one, because they don't need that. Even I don't have straight A, or I have all the F and the D and the E, you still give them an iPhone and, you know, all the gadget. So that's today's culture. That is on the aspiration. Ability is easy. Then you just monitor their tests and their exam, whether they are able to perform in their daily work or not. If you cannot, even if you say you want to have straight A, but all your tests and the exam you don't do well, all your aspiration are just purely dream. Kan? Then the engagement is about sacrifices. So this is the work that you have to do to attend tuition. You cannot play at a certain time. You cannot watch nice movie with other friend because you need to prepare for your work, for your housework or whatever that is. So again, this is a model that we use. And why I share this model with you here, because with the power of data in organization, you will be able to look at the profile of the individual for you to develop. So that's why I just want to use this as an example that we use in TM. Now, this is an attempt to share with you the application, the mobile app that we have in TM. As part of our daily work, we are privileged because we have TM R&D, TM Research and Development. We have another organization called TM TAP, which is an organization who does mobile app and application and all. So we partner them. So this is basically internally developed. For example, like Grow. Grow is an app that we use to monitor our KPI, our performance management system, on the mobile app. So whenever you have a review with your bosses, or you did a project, or you work with some other team player, there are opportunity for them to provide them feedback straight to your mobile app. Okay, so there is Grow. And in fact, Grow actually we are partnering with our consultant called, probably some of you know, SuccessFactor. Actually, it's a SAP spin-off. So that's Grow. TM Medic is interesting. We have an app called TM Medic. Inside there will help us with all our health administrator. In fact, down there also we have things like e-pharma. I don't know whether you heard about e-pharma. There's an app actually partnering with PM Care, whereby you can collect your medication through a distribution center that will bring the medical costs lower. Flow is interesting. Flow is actually if I were to describe to you all in a simpler manner, Flow is something like WhatsApp, but it is used for internal purposes. So this is, after office hour, you play with your WhatsApp. During office hour, you use Flow. Simply because we argue, if you use WhatsApp for your working purposes, sometimes when you open up your WhatsApp, you cannot avoid to also open the one from your loved one from home, right? Sometimes you buka this one, you got your friend, your alumni, so you start to open, and sometimes that will cause productivity. Imagine 26,000 people use, and we messages. So therefore, we have this application called Flow. It's also something like WhatsApp, but we use it for our internal purposes. Smile we have an app called Smile. It's a very interesting app that we have. Basically, I'm not sure if you guys use employee engagement survey or employee satisfaction survey once a year, once in 6 months, blah, blah, blah. So we created an app called Smile. Basically, this app it will give you a real-time emotional, it's like when you go to some counter, custom or office, public services, at the counter there is a smiley face. You enter as you go off. This one, you can do it all the time, anytime. So let's say, assuming this hall is filled up with TM staff, and I'm giving my talk here, if you don't like what I say, you can straight away put inside the Smile app. And it is monitored live, real time at our center. Then we can cut by state, we can cut by division, we can cut by all the different disciplines that we have. So we can know then, why is Kedah so happy when Johor is not happy? Something like that. Then we can zoom in and figure out what that is. So that is our app on Smile. Then of course we have other applications like Hero, for example. Hero is an app juga, mobile app. If sometimes TM, we have friends who have some problem with their broadband at home. So we can enter in Hero, then we will be able to link it to our call center and technical support to provide. So again, these are the applications that we use, some of them. And one thing, just to share with you our experience in developing application like this, just so you prepare yourself, based on the literature that I read, all the apps that we have, like Instagram, Facebook, whatever else that you have, 80% of the apps that have been created fail. Only 20% survive. So while we have this app, some are really under test. For example, even when I shared with you about Smile just now, sounded cool, right? When I talk to my other HR practitioner, when I say, we have this. But actually, I have some challenge, how to make people use it. So we are not about to say, if you participate in that survey anytime, we give you point. You give you coupon, voucher, and I think that doesn't work. Just like when you want to do employee satisfaction survey, some organizations have this engagement survey, a satisfaction survey. They will say, if the survey did well, you get bonus. Obviously, the result will be good. But is it reflecting the real true position of the organization? So those are the things that we need to think about. Because, and we also do not want to create apps like this and make it mandatory. Because in the industry 4.0, you can see a lot of literature that will talk about the rise of unwritten code. This is another challenge. The rise of unwritten code means that we don't force people, for example, while you are sitting here, you have to come or you like to come. It makes a lot of difference, seriously. In my younger days or my era, a lot of things you have to. Attendance must be written, your boss send you here, you must go. In the today world, Suhaimi, for example, have to work very hard to make sure I give a good presentation to you so that you will tell your friend next time when Suhaimi is speaking, everybody want to come. As opposed to, if you remember some of your cases or my cases before, actually I don't know why am I here, my boss asked me to come. The same thing goes to our Instagram, Facebook. Nobody force our kids to do that, but they just want to be there. Right? So that is organizational culture that we are dealing with in the moving forward in the digital culture, so-called Industry 4.0. Very interesting. That's why in this session like this, I also want to share the experience that we have in terms of, you can see a lot of new initiative conducted by organization, but sometimes it is wrongly executed. For example, like working from anywhere, organization have working from anywhere, which I will share with you some experience that we have. And these are good because some are cost saving. You off the light, you off the aircon, people can work from home, from Starbucks, then people say, there will be abuse, right? So actually, the moment that we are living today, in my perspective, is very interesting. Why? The decision maker that makes a lot of key decisions today are probably around my age. By the way, I'm 57. Okay? And I live in the glory days of my time, right? The days that when I enter an office, when I enter my meeting room, I ask everybody, please shut off your laptop. Listen to me, only me. Today is different. Today, while I'm talking, you are probably playing with your handphone, right? And nothing can stop that. But one thing is very important in today's world, moving forward to Industry 4.0, in my experience running all this digital era in organization, very important key value that we have to respect and to appreciate is trust. There's an article by, I think it's Kavi, The Speed of Trust. So the era that we are living now is very interesting. Why? We are not here, nor we are there. We are in between. The decision makers are living in my world. The youngsters, we want to give freedom. So we want to give freedom, and yet we want governance. We want to let you work anywhere. Are we sure it's working? Things like that. So we are in the middle. And I think by 15 years, 20 years time, probably that time I'm not around anyway, this will be settled because everybody will live in the same era. Now we are in the verge of two era. And especially in HR, like us, many of you, we have to really make a conscious at what time we want to release, at one time we want to govern. Okay? Let me go on. This is the source and the analytical tool that used for our data mining. I mean, today there are a lot of apps, there are a lot of tools ready, over the shelf and customized. We started by even as simple as Microsoft Excel, SS, data science, fundamental, R programming, and even today we have Tableau. Because when you have data, which I will share with you afterward, we have this work. Recently, about a year ago, we started in TM an initiative we call workforce segmentation. Workforce segmentation, if I use a consultant term, it looks fancy lah. Basically, it is an initiative to try to figure out how we can make sure that we come up with initiative that address the need of specific. Just like any marketing and sales, they have segmentation by, by age, by location, geography, and so on and so forth. Same goes with employee. So it will allow us to do many things. For example, last year we announced, that all mothers, those are pregnant, can go off at 4 o'clock. So all the mothers who are pregnant are very happy. But before we make that decision, our system allows us to figure out how many of them. Where are they? What is the cost implication? What is the operational implication? So that is where the big data analysis is becoming so very critical. We can do that. As I said just now, so along the month, about somewhere last year too, we also announced mothers who have children less than 15 years old can go off early at 4 o'clock. The same thing. Because we are able to understand how many mothers are impacted, and is that what they need. Through Flow, the WhatsApp just now I share with you, we will get the feedback live from the employee to see whether that is workable or not. And early this year, about 3 months ago, we bring down from 15 years old to only 6 years old, because we realized that because basically the 15 years old mother of 15 years old children need to deal with their children to send to the tuition, mengaji, and so on and so forth in the afternoon. So then we realized actually not many in our data point, so we bring down to 6 years old children and below. Those are examples, the initiatives that we do. And the thing about that is, while we are doing that, then remember we have union, you have 50-50 population of male and female. So when we say pregnant women who are pregnant can go off at 4, then the pregnant husband cannot be upset. Because we also have a lot of pregnant husbands, right? Why? Because in moving forward in doing all our initiative, we have to remember what works for you, but you cannot be upset with what works with others. So if our data is strong enough, just for example, just hypothetical, we say, let's say tonight there is a game, Manchester United versus Chelsea. So all the Manchester United fans can go out early. So the Liverpool fan cannot be upset lah. Some example. So with the power of data, we are able to do those things. What I'm trying to say is that moving forward, one size fit all approach cannot work. And you can cost a lot of money, and you can do a lot of cost saving if you targeted your solution to a specific need of the employee. So that's the power of the ability that we can do that. Those days we cannot do this because we don't have data. Today we have the data, we have the power of slicing and dicing it. Yeah. And of course over there you can see a lot of other initiatives that we have, delayering, agile. In fact, very recent we announced this thing called gig economy. I just want to share with you what is it about. Basically, we are allowing our employee to do other work that generate income. So for example, the asset that I have with me is the moment that the employee with me. Let's say our working hours is from 8 o'clock to 5. I said, okay, I let you go at 4. Example. So you have 1 hour, right? So if that 1 hour, you can do Grab, for example, and you make a lot of money for you, so be it. Those days, during my time, doing work other than what you are doing today is called, ingat tak? Moonlighting, right? So moonlighting is like, oh, cannot tell anyone, I'm moonlighting, don't tell them that I'm doing this. Today, we are recognizing that as an income. So what we are trying to say, because you have to remember, my challenge is productivity measure, because I have 26,000 now. So I want to bring down my cost. So what I do is, I ask my employee, take your current salary monthly, remember that, divide by 26 days a month, divide by 8 hours a day, then you know what is your per hour rate. Correct? I mean, your company probably have different formula, but it's how it works in TM. When you know your 1 hour rate is how much, let's say 50 ringgit for 1 hour, then suddenly you realize if you drive Grab, it can earn you 70 ringgit. Which one is a better deal? Grab. But then Grab doesn't work for everybody. Then what we do in the gig economy, we call it external gig. This initiative, we call it external gig. Of course, there's another thing called internal gig. I'll talk a bit about that afterward. Is that if you have your per hour rate 50 ringgit, for example, suddenly that 50 ringgit can be changed if you are doing something that you love to do. Mothers, my wife included at home, she likes to do cookies. Then she put it in Instagram. You know, girls have so many things. Lendang, dak lah, so many things. The men, those who play golf. I give you back 1 or 2 hours. You go and train somebody at the golf course, at the driving range. You can earn 1 hour 150 ringgit. For those people who are a bit religious, can go and teach mengaji, Quranic, and you get pahala by doing that, and you get money out of it. So today, there are a lot of opportunity to do those kind of things. What I do have as an employer, I have the moment. I have the 8 to 5. So if I can work with the employee to say that I return back whatever hours that I have, and I cut your salary, there are 50 ringgit per hour, and you earn somewhere else, then it's a win-win situation. In fact, the youngsters, I'm sure many of you are, there are a lot, I understand this thing called product review. They put it in the internet. Apparently, if you have Instagram follower more than 40, 50,000, all you need to do is to use somebody's product, make from my age, I will say a stupid video, because of my age. To them, it's not a stupid video, because it makes money. And the report says there are Malaysian that earn 13,000 a month doing just that. They call it product review. Same thing, if you are mothers, I'm sure some of you do, or those who did your cookies or cake at home. If you have followers more than 200,000, you don't worry. Somebody will contact you to ask you to use this flour, this flavor. Then you need to hashtag and say, they make money. So those are the gig economy. External. Internal, what we are doing in TM is that, for example, TM has call center who support all the Unify. So, and some we use dealer to sell our SIM card for the phone. Instead of giving the commission to the dealer, we give our employee the opportunity. If you want to do that, I pay you instead of pay the dealer. So this is something. So you can see suddenly I realized that 26,000 is no more an issue, because for as long as I can make my 26,000 employee productive. You got what I mean? So that's how it works in this another era of gig economy. Let me move on. So this is an example of how, for example, on medical, we focus on prevention. So we have gym now at TM that runs 24 hours. We have self-declared leave for MC, meaning the simple argument is that if you are not feeling well, you want to get an off day, you go to the clinic and you got your medical cheat, correct? In TM, it costs an average per trip to the clinic 127 ringgit. And probably the doctor will give you Panadol or something. But you need the medical cheat, right? So what happened is, in TM, what we do is, we give them 3 days out of the entitlement, you can just go off yourself. Meaning, if you're not well, you say you're not well. And you don't have to go to the doctor. By doing so, I bring down my medical expenses. Because another challenge I have in TM is that because of our demographic, we have a lot of seasoned people like me, so who will need to see doctor. So we have self-healing leave. Then I spoke about working mothers benefit, external gig, e-pharma, and able to allow people to buy leave because you need more leave than other people. So this is an example of initiative that we can have. Idea is to make sure that we identify the people, build the capability, and sustain them in the organization. This is just an example I want to share with you. Some other organization that is quite advanced when they use prediction and management. So, Google, you can see Volumetrics, VMware, BCG have all various ways of looking at their employee. That is the power of big data. Okay? Google use this for their talent value, objective, analyze impact. Apparently Google I'm sharing with you because this is one of the organizations that inspire me to drive, because we are not there yet. You have to remember that although I have 26,000, my 26,000 is not Google type of employee, right? So we have to manage that. So Google have a project called Oxygen to identify important characteristics of managers. Even managers' characteristics are able to be managed. Email is more than communication. This is interesting. When you do email, which when I was reading it is interesting that I observed. When you have your email, you have a specific behavior pattern now. How long you answer, who do you reply, how do you reply, can actually look at your behavior. This kind of question, it will escalate. This is question you will send to this guy. So actually, if we do it many times using artificial intelligence, the email, this is not in TM yet lah. I'm going to say TM is not there yet. But what I'm saying is the power of big data and technology. Just email that we all use to answer email that we do every day can actually read the behavior of the employee. Just like, organization, financial institution look at our behavior using our credit card. And where do you go, where do you shop, and so on. So the same thing, we are looking at the behavior of the employee using the technology. Okay? And they are capable of doing it. Talent war room, I'm sure this is, while we do it differently. Those days I remember we have 2-3 computer to help to look, one at profile, one at education achievement, one at the performance achievement. But actually all that can be integrated together. Again, coming from Google. This is Swarovski. Actually, some of the organizations, I did it in WeBe Digital. We use gaming. You can actually use gaming to do selection of employee for hiring, recruitment. Sometimes it will test the level of passion, which you choose, what route you take, and you got score point. So of course, Swarovski have their own way of doing it, but there are many opportunities to do this in purely managing our people. And again, in this kind of journey, my advice to me, myself, and to you all, the design thinking approach is a good approach to do. Basically, you have a module, you think of a concept, get a persona, try, fail. That's how it works in the design thinking concept. You must keep on trying and trying new things, learn from it. Then if it doesn't work, put it aside and move on. So that's how best to do this. Okay, I think that basically I want to cover. Am I okay with timing? And then I can spend some time on the, what do you call it? The Q&A. What happened to my deck? I think I have another page next. Can somebody help go back to the deck? Nope. It's okay then. Basically, some words that I got, your positive action combined with positive thinking result in success. This one guy quoted this wording, which I thought was cool. And then I have one. Failure. This is very interesting. He said, it's not coming back. Yeah. See, if you don't fail, you are not innovative enough. Simply say that you are not trying. You must fail and learn. And I think these are things that make me or give me the energy to move forward. With that, I thank you all for paying attention to me. And I'll have some time, I hope, to help answer some question if you have any comment or any feedback that you wanted to give to me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks.